Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another Left 4 Dead 2 ranking video, guys. In this video, believe it or not, we're going to be ranking all of the voting options in Left 4 Dead. So this is going to be things such as, for example, restarting the map, voting for a new one altogether, and the most famous one, which is going to be kicking another player. So we're going to be ranking all 6 of these from worst to best. If you guys end up enjoying today's video at the end, please end up dropping a like, comment, and subscribe to show your guys support. But anyways, guys, let's rank all the Left 4 Dead 2 voting options from worst to best. Alrighty, guys, so coming in for the very first spot here, in my opinion, this is the least liked voting option in the entire game. This is going to end up being All Talk. Now, for those of you guys that don't know what All Talk is, because this feature barely gets used and there's really not a lot of info online, let me explain. Essentially, what this does is it makes it so that way every single person in the entire lobby can communicate with each other regardless of what team you were on. So if you're, for example, playing in Versus, you can hear the Special Infected as a survivor and vice versa. In today's society, as people, nobody wants to have to feel like they're forced to talk to somebody, especially somebody on the enemy team, because this can lead to a lot of just shit talking and just people being annoying. And unfortunately, unless you end up having the option to be able to mute somebody, it could just get really annoying extremely fast. I really just don't want to have to argue with a 12-year-old that's getting hit by a mom with her sandal while there's a vacuum going on and a dog barking in the corner. It's just not something I really care to hear of in my immersive gameplay. You can even see here from the gameplay I'm showing on the video, it doesn't take long for people to automatically just X out this vote and not even accept it. So like 99.9% of the time, this never goes through anyways. In fact, you're more likely than not going to have a follow-up vote where someone's going to ask to end up getting you kicked. Speaking of that, coming in at our next spot is the kicking vote. The kicking vote has been severely abused and misused for several years now. Now, I understand that the original purpose behind the vote to kick was to end up getting rid of people that were throwing or hacking or basically being a douchebag. But the problem is, though, is that this is more rather than not used by those exact same people to get rid of innocent players. For example, you join in a lobby full of a complete set of douchebag teammates. They automatically kick you for looking at them wrong. You get into a lobby full of hackers, and they just decide to kick you because they rather would be in their mod server without you because they don't know you. They end up wanting to kick you just because simply they just don't like you. A lot of people will literally just kick you because they don't know you and they don't want to get to know you. This system is never really used in a fair manner. It's not even like it's a democracy. People will just look at it and they don't want to have confrontation and argue with people, so they'll just go where their herd goes, and if somebody's voting to kick you, then good luck, because most of the time, 99.9% of the time, a lot of people will just blindly agree, not even knowing why, just because they don't want to stick out from the crowd. The main reason why this isn't at the very bottom of the list is because it still does have its uses and can be used to remove a legitimately bad player, but the thing is, though, is that most of the time it's the other way around and a bad player is getting rid of a innocent player. Now we have voting to return to the lobby. This might trigger some of you because a lot of people do not like this vote. Because unfortunately, this also gets abused. Not necessarily as severe as the vote to kick, but this definitely does get abused. So for example, if somebody wants to end up winning the game and they're starting to get on a losing streak, they would much rather have the game end on you so you cannot get the win than see themselves lose. So they'll just vote to return to the lobby because they want to end up getting essentially a do-over. And a lot of the times this doesn't go through, but when it does, it is aggravating. You will be like on the 4th or like the 5th chapter of an entire campaign, and you're just about to win, and that one petty guy and all of his teammates want to vote to reset the entire thing just because of their ego. At least that's been my experience. This can be useful if you want to take a shortcut in like a normal campaign, but most of the time, a lot of times people will play a campaign through, so you're going to go back to the lobby inevitably anyway, so this is really only useful in like 2 instances, and one of them is usually bad. I'm not trying to make this sound like it's a bad thing to be in the game. All these voting options are good because they had the intent to end up being used for a certain purpose. But if somebody wants to truly abuse something, they will abuse it, and they will abuse it until it either gets nerfed, patched, or fixed. The only true way to end up fixing a lot of these voting options is to just sadly remove them, but then you get rid of the freedom for the people that use them innocently. It's one of those things that you can't exactly win, so you just have to deal with it. But at least the good news is, though, is that as long as you don't play online and get into a toxic lobby, this shouldn't even be an issue. Now we have voting to reset the entire campaign. This is only really useful for one thing other than what I just said about voting to return to the entire lobby, and that's just going to be is if you want to play with the same team again. But if you're playing an online match, they already give you that prompt as a in-game vote. It fundamentally has the same advantages and disadvantages of just returning to the lobby, but instead you're just not hitting the start button and the game just starts for you. It sounds a bit silly when you look at it that way, but that's just the truth. Now we have starting a new campaign. This is a really good vote. I think that this would be a useful vote if you were playing, like, let's say with your buddies and you wanted to change your mind on the map you were playing. Maybe, like, let's say you're in the first chapter of Dead Center, you change your mind, you decide to switch over to Dark Carnival, or let's say that you're playing on the Parish and you say, hey, I want to play on Coldstream. It's just stuff like that. It's kind of like I changed my mind last second, so instead of going back to the entire lobby, let's just do it right here in game. It makes it easier, it makes it much more convenient, and it really overall is, I think, the only useful vote other than just the last one, because for me, who predominantly plays single player nowadays for Left 4 Dead, I really don't use the other ones. Let me know what you guys think so far about this list and what your guys' favorite and least favorite voting options are, because I am curious, because I feel like they're going to differ slightly, but that's just me. And then guys, before we get into the number one spot, I do just want to have an honorable mention here. When it comes to the voting system, there technically is one last voting option other than the final spot, which is going to be the vote to play against the same team again. This is going to be the only one that you cannot call for a vote for. This is just at the end of your versus matches usually. And this is a useful feature, but I just did not include this on the list because you can't vote for this. You can only end up just letting it happen, and whatever happens, happens. I can't say, hey, I want to make this vote pop up on the screen now so that we can lock this in. It's just something that you have to just wait for, and it's kind of like a waiting game. If it was going to be on the list, though, it definitely would be in the top 3, but I just decided to scrap it just because of the fact that you can't force it to happen. And finally, at the number one spot, the most useful voting option in my personal opinion, this is going to be the change difficulty vote. The change difficulty vote is really useful. You can go from easy to normal to advanced and expert basically on a whim. You can force your game to be easy or difficult whenever you want it to be. You don't have to play at a certain difficulty level if you change your mind. That's essentially what all these voting things are for at the end of the day, is that I change my mind. It's good to not have to just reset the game entirely if you don't want to. It's like, hey, you know what? I'm having a bad day. I rather would not play on advanced mode today. I'm going to tone it down, make it on normal or easy. I just want to relax. Or if you want to, you can even have it in the opposite effect. You can be like, hey, you know what? Normal mode is getting quite boring. Let's play on advanced or expert. I really could use a challenge today. It's just something that you can do with your buddies just because you want to. Something that you just feel spontaneous about, or maybe you do this quite regularly. I have played on every single difficulty and won on every single difficulty, but my two favorites are going to be normal and advanced because I don't exactly like playing on easy because it's extremely easy. I don't like playing on expert because I don't really feel like sweating my balls off. So I normally play on those other two difficulties, and they have served me a lot in the past. Even though all the voting options have their place and a time to use them, the changing difficulty vote is the most useful, in my opinion, in the entire game. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys end up enjoying it. If you did, please consider dropping a like, comment, and subscribe to show your guys' support. If you guys want to check out the last ranking video where I ranked all the Left 4 Dead commercials from worst to best, believe it or not, then I recommend going to check out that video. There will be a link down below in the description to the playlist of all the other prior episodes for my ranking series. In fact, you might even want to watch them all. I have 42 episodes, not counting this one, so it's enough to binge for a really long time. I really think you guys will get a kick out of all the things I've ranked before in the past. If you guys would like to financially support the channel, I tremendously appreciate if you guys could go check out my Patreon. It's always linked down below in all my YouTube video descriptions, or you guys could use supporter creator code BlackNinja797 in all caps in the Fortnite Epic Games item shops, because Epic is my very first sponsor, and they are sponsoring today's video, so shout out to Epic Games. And I hope you guys end up enjoying seeing another YouTube video from the most unique YouTubers they're ever going to see. Thanks for watching, guys. I love you, and peace out.
Hey, meme lords. Jesus here. And you better have enjoyed that video there by the eternal god Daddy Ninja. You should probably subscribe too, or the mighty Moab will come for your balls. If you enjoyed the video, you might like it too. And give me the memes. Flash, bang, boom!